This initiative came about when I finished my PhD at the University of Wollongong, and I thought to myself, how can I give back to my own community where I started off? And it's one of those communities which is in the most remote parts of Zimbabwe. And I remember that we didn't have many books, we didn't even have a library. And 30 years later, when I went back, I realized that the situation was still the same. So I thought, oh, wow, what is it that I can bring back? What do I have in my hands that I can bring back to help my own community? And that's what prompted me to start collecting books for my former school. The idea was not to start a not-for-profit organization. The idea was to end a problem. So we just wanted to help the kids to start reading, to give them books. And from then on, it just grew and grew and grew. We had an overwhelming response from the community within Wollongong and in the Illawarra. We ended up with 10,000 books in 2 months, 20,000 books in a year, and we ended up shipping over 30,000 books last year. Self-understanding is actually key because this is how we started with this project. I looked at myself and I thought, well, you know, when I was young, when I was 6 years old in grade 1, I would have benefited a lot from having books at my school, but I didn't have that opportunity. It was only when I moved to the city when I was 7 years old where I got this opportunity to read and you know, just get lost in a library. So I thought, if that was my experience then, and if I could give back to my own community instead of taking them out of their communities and bringing them to a place where there's a library, why not bring a library to them and just be fantastic for those kids and just help them, you know, to develop a reading culture at a young age. So it helped me a lot because it speaks to me a lot because I came from such a village and I know the challenges that they have. So we just wanted to go in and help them. And this community is now made up of my nephews and my cousins and my nieces. And I look at what is happening right now, that kids do not transition. Not too many kids transition from primary school to high school. And especially if you look at the girls, they are getting married at a very young age just because they don't have a good education or they just can't proceed to secondary school. And if that's the case, you know they're not going to be thinking of university. And what's going to happen to the boys? They'll resort to crime and drugs. And that doesn't help the community at all. I've had to look at myself and ask myself, what are my strengths? So that those strengths that I have will show up in the organization that I lead. They say that if you are not growing as an individual, then whatever it is that you're leading is not going to grow. So I had to look at myself and ask myself, what are my strengths? And also look at myself and ask myself, what am I not? So that I will be able to move forward and be able to mold this organization into what it needs to be. So one of the things that I've done is I've developed my own mission statement. And that mission statement is going to reflect in the organization that I lead. And within my mission statement, which is modeled around the 5 Fs, there's a part where it says you need to be fantastic, or the organization needs to be a fantastic organization. But you as an individual need to be fabulous. So if you want, you can actually say, well, I want to be fantabulous. And that will show up in the organization as well. And this is something that we carry with ourselves. I look at myself and I say, I want to be a fantastic human being. I want to be a fabulous human being for somebody else. And let my peers and the people around us look at us and say, that's a fabulous organization. So I think that is really key. We look at our strengths and we see that one thing that I do really well is to speak from the heart because I have this story, this amazing story, which can inspire other people.